for objection handling. We're gonna go over the exact scripting, how to flow between objections, because that's extremely important, how to get logistical out of the way and then go into fear, absolutely everything in this video. So let's get into it. Number one, you have to understand, no matter the objection you get on the call, you're always gonna default to something logistical. Why do we do that? It's because in psychology, you have to think about objection handling as doors. If we have 7 doors, for example, and each one is an outcome to the call that the prospect could choose, the mistake people make is they try and force the prospect through the buying door. Instead, great salespeople, what they do is they close every other door until the last one left is buying, so then the person ends up buying. And so the reason we want to close the money logistical door first, always, is because if you think about it, any objection to some degree comes down to money logistical. For example, if somebody says it's a partner objection, well, if it was free, do you think it's not to speak to their partner? Well, obviously not. So to some degree, there's money attached to every single one. And so it's the easiest door to just close all of a sudden at the beginning. That way, everything else, then we can attack individually. So here's how you do it. From the very beginning, okay, not a problem, man. Like, money aside, if I gave you a duffel bag with like the full 10 grand, like, would you actually do it? Oh yeah, of course I would do it. And why though, if I can ask? Oh, because of X and Y and Z, the coaching, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because like you having the coaching and X and Y and Z, like what would that actually do for you, like more personally? Oh man, well, like I could really be, like have a lot more freedom. I could leave this job. I could be able to travel more with my family and X and Y and Z. Yeah, man, that makes sense then. Is it just that initial investment of like the $10,000 then? Or like, if there was a way to possibly break it up, would it make it a bit more digestible for you, like financially? Oh, well, absolutely, it'd make it easier. Okay, amazing, man. So bills and expenses aside then, like cash on hand. Okay, cool, man. So cash on hand then, bills and expenses aside, what do you actually have saved up at the moment? Just to see back. Oh, well, I have 5 grand saved up. Great. All we have to do, we have to change this to a payment plan that works within their budgetary constraints. The reason why is that another big mistake people will make is if you're trying to handle a fear objection, but you don't actually know if it's logistics or fear, and then from here, we're gonna put together a payment plan that works within their budgetary constraints. Is because a big mistake people make is they'll try and handle fear before getting logistics out of the way. The reason that's such a big problem is that then they will start lying about their logistics after you've handled the fear. So for example, you'll trap them in a fear box where they know the right thing to do is to buy, and now they feel pressure, they feel like an animal trapped in a corner, and they're like, oh, I just can't afford it, man, like I don't have the money. And they'll start lying to you, and it's impossible to get past the lie, because now they've already broken that barrier in their mind. Like, I can lie to this guy, I don't trust him, I don't like him. And so again, that's why we get logistics out of the way first and then go into fear. So great, after we put together this payment plan, financing, whatever works within their budgetary constraints, then we go, okay, so with the understanding that you feel like it would work within budgetary constraints and you feel it's actually gonna like get you to that point of like making the 20 grand a month, going on vacation, all that jazz, how would you like to proceed? And now from here, there's only 2 things that can happen. Really 3 things, I guess. They could say, yes, I wanna do it, in which case, great, you're done, collect the payment, blah, blah, blah. Or they could go directly into fear, meaning they go, oh man, like it's still a big commitment. Great, that's directly into fear, so then you go down here, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. Or they could go into another logistical, so either time or partner. So let's start with time. If they give us a time objection, here's what we do to handle the logistics of the time objection. We go, okay, not a problem, man. Always diffuse it, not a problem, man. Time aside, like if you did have the time, would you actually do it? Like, do you actually feel like it'll get you to that point of like being able to like make the 20 grand a month, go on the vacations, all that jazz? Then go, oh yeah, like of course I do. And why though? Because what would that do for you personally? The exact same thing we did with money. Yes, you're gonna do it again, because again, you want it to be top of mind, you want to remind them of it. It's not enough to know something, you have to be reminded of it to actually understand it and act in accordance with it. So that's why we're gonna remind them of it. Then we go into the frame. The frame I like to use for time is the 2 people analogy. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. Yeah, okay, well, can I make a suggestion, man? They're always gonna go like, yeah. It's kind of like, I'm a big believer in like, there's 2 types of people in this world. The first is the guy who goes, you know what? I have my career, I have my wife, I have this, I have that, I'm super busy, therefore I cannot get in shape. The second guy is the guy who goes, you know what? I have my career, I have my wife, I have my family, I have my kids and everybody else, and that's why I have to get into shape, and that's why it's a non-negotiable for me to get into shape, because I want to be the best possible role model for them in the first place. But the question is, like, which of those 2 people do you think actually ends up in shape and ends up going further? They're always going to be like, oh, well, obviously the second guy. Well, why though? You have to make them justify it. Oh, because of like X and Y and Z, man, like because like then they're more committed, they find a way to do things, etc. So which of those 2 people do you want to be? Oh, I want to be the second guy. Well, why though? Again, make them justify it. The reason why, by the way, that we make them justify it is because it's not enough to say, I believe this. You have to make them agree why I believe it. Because if they say why they believe it, and then they give us the consequence, which is the next part, now they're actually buying into the fact of that new belief. So then next we go, because what do you think would happen if you don't? What do you think would happen if you decided to be the first guy who was like, no, I have this, I have this, I have that, therefore I cannot get into shape. Oh, I wouldn't get into shape, my life would suck, and this and that would happen. The key here is you have to probe until you get deep enough. And then now you gotta get the commitment to change. So you go, okay, are you actually willing to like settle for that? And you're like, oh, well, no, obviously I'm not willing to settle for that. Like, I can't have that. So what decision do you feel like you really have to make, man, to put yourself in the best possible position, man, to like be that second guy, get into better shape so you can be that role model for your wife and kids. And then again, from here, two things I could say. Either yes, in which case it's a closed sale, or they say, it's just that fear objection. And that's where you go into handling fear. And again, I'm gonna show you guys how to do that in a second. So those are two options. They either go, it's just that whatever, and then now we're into fear, or it's a closed sale. Now let's go to partner, right? If again, we did money logistical, then they go, oh man, well it's just that, I need to speak to my partner, whatever. Here's how you handle it. Number one, again, we're getting them bought into the fact again, like, yeah, it's gonna help me, value objection out of the way, etc. Right? So like partner aside, man, like not a problem. Obviously, like partner aside, if she was on board and she was like, yeah, like, honey, you have to, like this is amazing, this is everything. Like, would you actually do it? Do you actually feel like it'll get you to that goal of like that 20K a month? Well, yes, I do. Well, why though? Because what would that do for you personally? Again, same thing. We're getting the buy-in to the fact that, yeah, the program works. Then we go, okay, so out of curiosity, man, like what happens if you go to her and you're like, hey, honey, like we need to do this. This is gonna change everything. It's gonna get us here. We're gonna be on these vacations and everything else. And she says, no. Like, would you just kind of like do it anyways? Or would you just, I guess, kind of like give up on like actually getting like that 20K a month goal and everything else? And from here, again, there's two options. They either go, nah, I wouldn't really do it. In which case, I'll show you guys where to go. No matter what, we're gonna go to the same place anyway, so it's pretty hard to get lost. Or they're gonna go, I would do it anyways. If they say this, you make them buy into the fact. Well, why would you? Oh, because I understand, like, I'm the man of the household, I have to do this, I have to do that. Again, all you're doing is you're softening them up. Then no matter what, you're gonna go into the analogy, which is heavy as the head that wears the crown. So we go, well, can I make a suggestion, man? And they're always gonna be like, yeah, of course. And it's like, have you heard the saying, like, heavy is the head that wears the crown? You're like, yes, I know it, no, I don't know it. The idea of it is like, the weight of the crown, it's a thing Shakespeare said. The weight of the crown isn't the crown itself, right? It's not the jewels or the diamonds, the gold, like anything else. The weight of the crown is the decisions and responsibility you have when you have that crown on. It was like back in the day, for example, the king, he was the one sending an army out this way. He was starting a war this way. He was responsible for hundreds of thousands of lives. Because as the king, it would not have been fair for him to take the burden of that responsibility and put it on anybody but himself, whether it was the queen or his dog, if they even had dogs back then, or his tree or anybody else. Because for you, for example, man, like, who's actually gonna be the one like getting on the sales calls, collecting the cash, making the commissions, all that jazz? Oh, it's gonna be me. Yeah, and like who's gonna be the one like going through the training, learning the skills, handling the objections, everything else, like actually make the money? Oh, it's gonna be me. So then whose responsibility do you feel it really is? And again, I say this like out of love, like whose responsibility do you really feel it is to actually put you and your wife in the best possible position, like get to that 20K a month goal. That way you can like take everybody on vacation, like be able to spend more time with them. And they're gonna be like, oh, well, it's mine. Well, why though? Again, push back, make them justify. Oh, because like, man, like I really understand, like it's my job, I gotta do something. And then you go, so do you think it would be fair to, I guess, put the burden of that responsibility on anybody but yourself? Whether it's your dog, your wife, your cat, your fucking tree, like anybody else. You're like, well, no. Well, why not? Again, make them defend it. Oh, because of X and Y and Z. And then now we consequence. Remember, it's always frame, pushback, consequence, CTA. I'll explain that a little bit more in depth in a minute. Right? But then we go, because what do you think happens if you do? If you take the burden of that responsibility, the weight of your decisions, and you put it in the hands of somebody with less context. Oh, I mean, they don't have the context, man, so like they wouldn't be able to make the best decision for me. And what do you think that would mean, like even at a deeper level? If you have people with less context making the decisions for you. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't progress my career as fast and X, Y, Z. Again, you just got to probe deep enough to actually get enough leverage, and then get them to commit to changing. And are you actually willing to like settle for that? Well, no, I'm not, man. So what decision do you feel like you have to make, man, to put yourself in the best possible position to take that responsibility, do X, do Y, so you can get to that 20K a month and actually have that financial freedom for you and your family? Oh, I gotta do it. Or, and if they say I gotta do it, again, it's a closed sale. If they say, it's just that, fear objection, great. And so that's the only other option. We'll go over how to handle a fear objection now. Now, one note I wanna mention right here is a lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll be like, oh, but Andres, I'll do the heavy as the head that wears the crown, and they'll still tell me like, oh man, I just gotta speak to my wife. Understand one thing, that is completely fine. The point of handling the partner, time, and money logistical in this specific way is we're not handling the fear of the objection. We're only handling the logistics of the objection. The logistics of the partner objection is the fact that they believe it is somebody else's responsibility. So if we get them to admit and agree it is my responsibility, and they still say I need to speak to my partner, well now logistics out of the way. So what's the only other option that it could be? Fear. They're just covering it up with a logistical reason, right? Oh, I need to speak to my wife. But in reality, it's just fear. They know it, I know it, so it makes it a lot easier to handle. And so that's when we're gonna go into handling actual fear. So how do you do that? Number one, you're gonna start with what we call the agreement statement. Why do we use an agreement statement? And this is a little bit more advanced objection, right? So bear with me. Bad closers, mediocre closers, good closers, they try to handle every objection that comes at them. The issue with that is if the prospect gives you 10 different objections that you've never heard of, you had no idea they were going to give you, who's at the advantage? The prospect is, because you have no idea what objection they're going to give you next. They're the ones in control of that conversation. So instead, what do I need to do? I need to convert their objection into whatever objection I want to hear. For example, if they told me, oh man, like it's just a really big commitment, it's just really risky. Great. What was their objection? It's a big commitment, it's risky. If I do my agreement statement though, yeah, that makes sense, man. Because like ultimately what you're seeking is like certainty, right? Like you'll actually get the result from it, you'll be safe, everything will be good. They're gonna say yes. Now what is the objection? Is it still a riskier commitment objection? No, now it's a lack of certainty. And here's the key. Guess what? I have fucking a million objection handles behind me, a million reframes for certainty. You know how many they have? 0. So now I'm at the advantage. They're in my world. I'm no longer in their world. Every great objection handler, every great salesperson does this exact same thing. Yosh and Matt Ryder, for example, they do it all based on perspective. I do it based on certainty because it resonates more with me. And then from here, you're just gonna go into your 4 frames. Now, I don't have time to obviously go through all the 4 frames now because that would take way too long. I'll go over one specific frame to show you guys kind of the structure of it. However, after you go through your frames, if they still don't buy, and this is where a lot of people get messed up, your goal is not to objection to them until they buy for 2 hours. If they do not buy after 4 frames, which is usually about 20 minutes, you're literally just gonna say an apology, like, sorry man, like I did everything I could to help you. Like I know this was the right thing for you to like get you out of XYZ position, but unfortunately today I wasn't able to help you. I wasn't able to get you across, so I apologize. That's gonna be a pattern, a massive pattern interrupt for them. They're gonna go, what the fuck? And so now it's gonna make it very easy to follow up with them in the future if you need to, or it's gonna make it easier for them to feel comfortable reaching out to you again in the future if they feel like they need to do it. And the reason why we do this as well is because it's not worth it to objectional 2 hours to maybe get some payment plan or some small deposit or payment or whatever. I would rather objectional 20 minutes and use the other hour and 40 minutes to go outbound dial, book myself more appointments with actually qualified people who are more committed and make more sales with those people that actually end up being piffs. So that's why you're not just gonna stay until you buy, right? And then from there, you literally, it's the end, it's done. That's it. It's that simple, it's really a formula. But with that being said, I promise you guys, I'm gonna go through one frame to show you guys how it works. The structure of a reframe, and I'll show you guys as I do this, the structure of a reframe is, number 1, a frame. I'll make this way bigger for you guys. Frame, pushback, consequence, and CTA. I'll make this way bigger. Frame, pushback, consequence, CTA. So the prospect gives me a fear objection. It's like, it's just risky, man. Like it's a massive commitment. And I'll go like, yeah, that makes sense, man. Because like what you're seeking ultimately is like certainty, right? Like you'll actually get the result, you'll get to the 20K a month, all that jazz. And you'll be like, well, yeah, I am. It's like, can I make a suggestion on that though? And you'll be like, yeah. It's kind of like, the interesting thing about certainty is like, we all seek it, but it doesn't really exist. For example, if I say tomorrow I want to go to the beach, let's say, right? I don't know the weather at the beach before I get there. Like I could check the weather app, has it ever been wrong? I'm like, well, yeah, of course it's been wrong. Yeah, too many fucking times, right? But if I never go to the beach, unless it's 100% guaranteed to be the absolute perfect weather, would I ever be able to go to the beach? They're gonna go like, oh, well, no, of course not. Exactly, man. Like same way in business, if I never actually invest in my skill set to like learn sales, get out of the 9 to 5, get to that 20K a month goal, unless it's 100% guaranteed for me to get to that 20K a month, have the financial freedom and everything else the perfect way possible, would I ever be able to like invest and learn the skill set and actually achieve the financial freedom? And they're gonna go, well, I guess not. And if you really thought about it, man, like if you really consider it, could that be the reason we're actually in this position now? Where like we haven't invested in anything over the past year, even though we've known about sales because like we weren't really certain. They're gonna go, oh, well, I mean, I guess like that could be the reason. Well, why though? Like, why do you feel like that could be the reason? So notice, what have we done now? We have gotten the frame and now we're pushing back. Well, why? Like, why do you feel like that could be the reason? Oh, well, because like I haven't had the certainty, so I haven't invested in myself, I haven't learned the skill set, blah, 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 blah. From there, we go into the consequence. Yeah, because if I can, and I ask this out of love, man, like, what do you think actually happens if we keep having that mindset of looking for certainty in things before doing them, even though certainty doesn't exist? And then they're gonna go, oh man, well, like, I'd stay where I'm at, I'm gonna stay in the 9 to 5 job, I'm not gonna be able to actually, like, get into high ticket sales and do this and this and that. And then here is the key. We have to probe deeper. The reason why is we need leverage to get them to change their belief. People will say that, and you'll hear people talk about this online all the time. Oh, I was in a toxic relationship for a year and I couldn't quit it and blah, blah, but after a year, finally I changed it. People think, oh, it took a year to get out of the relationship. No, they put up with it for a year and then they finally had enough pain, enough momentum, enough consequence that they were finally like, I've had enough. I'm changing, never again. I'm never going back. And that's the moment in which they make the change. Sales works the exact same way. We need to get enough leverage, enough of that pain to make them be in that moment, I'm never going back. I'm done. I'm never going back to this. And then that's when you're gonna be able to change their belief and actually sell them. And how do we do that? With the consequence. So when they tell us, oh man, like I would stay in the same place and this and this and that, well, what do you think that would actually look like? Actually like on a day-to-day basis. Oh, well, I mean, I would stay here, like I wouldn't be able to provide for my family and this and that. Again, you're just getting leverage for them to make the change finally. And then once you've gotten the leverage, you need to do the CTA. So the CTA for the beach analogy, for example, would be like, right man, so like rather than having this mentality of seeking certainty before actually taking action, what mindset do you think you need to have instead in order to actually put you in the best possible position to like achieve the level of success you want to have? You go, oh man, well like I need to act out of like uncertainty, right? In order to actually like, achieve that success. And then that's when you ask for the sale again. So that version of you, man, that's like actually thinking with the uncertainty, what decision does he make to put himself in the best possible position to actually learn the skill set so he can get to that 20K a month, have that financial freedom for him and his family, and be able to like travel and go spend time with them. Oh man, well like I just have to do it. And then boom, you've gotten the money, you've made the sale. Or if they're still being difficult and they want to give you a second objection, then that's perfectly fine. That's when you're gonna go into the other 4 frames. And again, you're just gonna cycle between them, and at the end of the 4th, again, go into the apology and the end. So again, to recap, that is the basics of objection handling. You start with money logistical up here, then they're either gonna buy, they're gonna go straight into fear, or they're gonna go into a different logistical, either time or partner. Once they go into that, you're gonna handle the logistics of either time or partner, and then again, you're either gonna buy or back to fear. Once they go into fear, agreement statement, just to recap, and then you go into your frame. And again, your frame is a frame, pushback, consequence, CTA, that will give you the leverage, get them to commit to changing, and then that's when they will buy. Now, that is all the fundamentals of objection handling. If you want all of the frames and this Miro board, etc., I'm gonna upload all of them into the